Hello. In this demonstration, I will be providing an overview of the TotalFlow PrintServer Operator Console. The console has been completely updated to improve performance and product usability. Particular attention has been paid to improving ease of use to ensure that operators can accomplish their tasks quickly and with few errors. The console uses HTML, and during the demonstrations, I will be accessing it using a Chrome browser. Let's take a look. To begin, I will log in. Logging into the operator console is optional and depends on the settings you have set up in security. As it loads, you will notice that the design of the console is common across both our continuous forms and our cut sheet solutions. This is intentional so that customers can learn one solution and easily move over to the other solution. Most of what you will see behaves the same on continuous forms and cut sheet printers. As you look at the console, there's a couple major areas to begin. Up at the top is the status area. This provides details about the job being printed. For example, in this case, the assembly manual, it indicates the copies of and page of. Moving further to the right, we have print sample capability, start and stop for the printer. And then on the far right, we have an image of the printer as well as the ink or toner levels. The interactive printer, which on previous versions would automatically appear, no longer automatically appears. The operator can still access it, but they have to click the arrow to make it appear. Moving further down, we have three main areas. The operations area, the jobs area, and configuration area. We'll go through each of those individually. We also have job submission and some user settings. A subsequent video will describe job submission in more detail. The operations area is primarily used by continuous forms operators in environments where jobs are managed upstream in a product like Rico Process Director or Import Manager. We don't anticipate many operators in cut sheet environments spending much time in the operations area. Most of their time will be spent in the jobs area. When you log into the TotalFlow PrintServer, we return you to either the operations or jobs area depending on what you were using last time. In this case, for the demonstration, we went to the operations area, but if I logged out now and returned, I would come straight back to the jobs area. In the jobs area, there are a number of what we call pods. There are active jobs, inactive jobs, messages, and input trays. Active jobs, this area, display all the jobs that are currently being processed by this system. Processing can include both printing and ripping and receiving. Inactive jobs, down here on the bottom, display all jobs held by the system not being processed. To help operators find jobs more quickly, we have some things like a filter. For example, if I open the filter and type in 2011, it will reduce this down. It's very fast and helps people find jobs quicker in the system. When you select a job, we show details on the right-hand side, including a preview, the ability to navigate through that preview, as well as the ability to look at details of the page. In addition to being able to select one job, operators can also select multiple jobs. So in this case, I've selected 3 jobs, and it has calculated that it'll be 1,734 sheets. This is very helpful to determine as more paper is required before releasing these jobs. To act on jobs, operators can either use the toolbar up at the top, which consists of print, hold, edit, view, which shows a previewer, delete, and then some more options, like launching the job in TotalFlow Prep for advanced imposition and setup, and more advanced print and rip options. The right-hand side of the toolbar is customizable, and in a subsequent video I will show you how operators can customize this for the most frequently used tasks. Moving further to the right, we display operator messages. This is where errors, warnings, and informational messages are displayed. Based on feedback from operators, we added the ability to collapse the informational area and the warnings in case operators don't want to see that information. Anytime an error occurs, it is always displayed up at the top and in the right-hand side. I will demonstrate an error sample in a few minutes in this video. Moving further to the right, we have our input trays. We've added the ability for someone to be able to change the paper in very quick fashion. they can select the tray. They will be displayed the paper catalog. If they want, they can use that filter that I described earlier. For example, if I wanted to find blue paper, I could go here and select this. After I select it, it will change the paper loaded in that tray. The lock indicates that the paper will not be auto-selectable. This means it must be called by the paper name, not just the attributes. This is configurable when a paper is created, and in subsequent videos we'll show you how paper is created. I'm going to set this tray back to just a standard letter paper. When dealing with trays, an operator can create paper immediately if one does not exist that they need for the current job. To do so, they would open the paper selection, click the paper catalog button, and then have the ability in here to go in and define a new paper and all of the attributes associated with that. I will go through that in more detail in a subsequent video. To show how the different pods work when a job is being printed, I'm going to first hold this job and then edit this job to specify that it should use letter blue paper. So to edit that job, I just double-clicked on it. The job ticket editor is launched. I'll pick my paper, letter blue. The preview on the right-hand side will be updated to show the pages using that paper. In a subsequent video, we'll go through more of the advanced features of job setup and imposition, marks and bleeds, exception pages, etc. So for now, what I'm going to do is just press print. In the past, you had to hold the job and then release it, but now we've added the print and hold directly on the job ticket editing capability. So I'm going to press print and start the job, and we will immediately run into an error. This is deliberate to show you an example of how an error is shown. In this case, this job requires letter blue paper that has not been loaded into a tray. I can close the message, but it's always reaccessible up here, and an operator can always come back to it and see there. We also put it big red bold across the top so an operator can see that from across the room. So to get this job going, I will load letter blue paper into tray number 3. And the job should now begin to prepare to print. As the job prints, the status will continue to be updated throughout the top. The last main area on the screen is a configuration area. This is where all the settings for the TotalFlow PrintServer are. Things like adding paper, performing a calibration, which supports both an attached spectrophotometer now as well as offline. Printer presets, which are ways to set up configurations that can be applied to the entire printer. Like, for example, you have a certain set of papers you want to be reused across all the trays for a particular job. Virtual printers, a range of printer options, all of the color management settings and profile settings, as well as more DFE security and diagnostic settings. We will go through some of these other areas in subsequent videos. Thank you for your time.